to another episode of People Talks. I'm your host, Naveed Salim from EngageRocket, the fastest growing people analytics tech company in Southeast Asia. This series, we explore different aspects of how companies and leaders are navigating through the current COVID-19 situation to extract insights and practices from those at the top of their field. Over the past couple of months, Singapore has been undergoing the largest work from home experiment ever, already having huge implications on how we think about remote working, the future of the office space, and communications technology. Some of us, however, have been working from home for 12 weeks. That's right, 12 weeks and counting. Today, it's my great pleasure to have with us Sapna Saxena, Senior Director of Human Resources APAC at Tableau, to share more about her experiences. Hi, Sapna. Do you mind giving us a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, Naveed, and thank you for having me on this series. Really appreciate it. So I am the Senior Director for Asia Pacific and Japan region. I take care of HR needs across all the countries. We have people spread out from India all the way to Japan and Australia, as well as New Zealand. As you said in the opening, I can totally understand HR people and colleagues across the world have been at the helm of this pandemic, COVID-19. So I'm very excited to have a conversation with you about this.
Fantastic, and thanks once again. So let's get into it. So while some countries are appearing to be successful with their initial attempts to flatten the curve, are you optimistic that we will be back to business as usual soon after the circuit breaker in June?
That's a good question. And as you're aware, that the government of Singapore has announced a very phased approach to restarting the economy. And I think the hope is that by the third phase, we will be almost back to normal. That's the hope. But in my opinion, I think the buzzword of today is new normal. And I don't think it's just a buzzword. It's more than just the reality that is going to hit us. The way we operate our business, the way we think about our employees, their safety, their well-being, and their productivity is absolutely changing. So the new normal is here, and new normal is the way to go.
Absolutely.
I feel like in our organization, what we have done is similar to a lot of other organizations that you have seen. Those employees who are comfortable working from home till the end of the year, they will continue to do so. And we will constantly evaluate our position as we go through this pandemic together with everybody else in the world. For us, safety and well-being of our employees is super important. And I think the business as usual is going to look very different than what it was in February.
I'm quite excited to see this new normal kick in for everybody. So let me move on. So how important is it using data in a crisis like this? We understand that Tableau has publicly accessible coronavirus data tracker amongst some other resources. Would you care to share a bit more about this and how it has been useful?
Yep. I think we all realized that the first thing that people turned to was data the moment the outbreak started. And that is itself a big thing for anybody who's working in the data industry. The term called flatten the curve is also actually a visualization term, and I'm pretty happy to see everybody across the world is using that constantly. The whole inspiration around social distancing is through the data, so I think that's super important to know. We are helping governments, businesses, and individuals, making sure that they are leaning on the data during this time of absolute uncertainty and absolute anxiety. So this is really, really important for us. I want to share with you one story from our customer, TVS Credit. This is a leading customer of ours in India, and they wanted to monitor the immediate needs of their employees, 14,000 of them spread across 130 locations in India. And as a result of using Tableau, they were able to identify over 100 employees with urgent medical emergencies, and they were able to quickly act on it. So I think that is what the value of data is in a real life example. I think Tableau also understands that we are in a unique position to help more and more people to make critical decisions in a very short period of time. Together with our Tableau community and partners, we have created free and publicly accessible COVID-19 data resource hub. This resource hub is absolutely with the intention of public service, And this is for people in organization to see and understand data. A couple of things that I want to highlight about COVID-19 Data Resource Hub. It's a clean, ready to use, very trusted COVID-19 data that businesses can use. You can merge it with your own analysis that you have and curate something just for yourself. There are a variety of data and visits available. You can pick and choose what meets your need. And most importantly, you can jumpstart workbooks on HR and healthcare. And finally, I just want to share that there are free trainings as well as how-to guides available for each and every one to use.
Great, that's very good to hear, and it's a great initiative. And also the story that you shared about your client. I'm glad to know that using data has really translated into something positive immediately, right? So that's good to know. Now that this has been going on for months, Saxena, and we are coming to the end of the circuit breaker period, what are some of the key learnings that you have taken away from this work from home period?
That's a good one. As my CEO always keeps saying, this is my first pandemic, so I'm going to steal that line as well. This is my first pandemic too. And I think I'm learning constantly from the very start to now. I think I'm always making sure that I'm tuned into what I have to learn and pivot and flex in my working style. I guess a few best practices first about the organization that we are doing. We are trying to limit the amount of communication that goes out to the employees. We want to make sure that in our effort to be very connected with the people, making sure that they are informed of everything that's going on in the organization. We also look at the fact that some of them are working with children at home. They are also focusing on children who are doing virtual lessons. Some people are taking care of their elderly, and some people are living all by themselves. So we want to make sure that we are looking at how much information and communication is going out to the employees. Personally, for myself, I have actually learned that I need to switch off my video every now and then, because sometimes when you're on a video call nonstop, you are in a fixed position and you're constantly looking at the screen, and that sometimes can be more stressful. So personally, that is a technique that I have employed for my own self. Couple of other things. I do feel encouraging the employees to take breaks is really important, because it's so easy to get stuck in this chair for like 10 to 12 hours and not notice that. So it's really, really important that we constantly ask our people to go ahead and take a break. We are very fortunate that we have resources like BWell series. A BWell series in our organization is a half-hour broadcast featuring industry luminaries like Ariana Huffington, Trevor Noah, Deepak Chopra. And this is available for all employees across the world. And at the end of the day, it's important to have fun with the team. So virtual coffees are super important, and bring your own drinks. Virtual happy hours are highly recommended.
Sounds cool. What is Tableau doing to understand how your talents are thinking and feeling in these uncertain times, and how does that actually guide management decision making?
Yep, people are our top priority, and I'm sure that's a top priority for a lot of organizations. As part of Salesforce, I think we get a lot more resources available to us. So we are focused on the physical as well as mental health of our employees. The one thing that I want to share at this point in time is something called Thriving Mind. This is developed by Thrive Global in partnership with Stanford Medical. It's our latest global benefit program. It helps our employees as well as their families to strengthen their psychological and emotional health. It enables people to understand why we respond to stress in a certain way and what can we do, what actionable strategies are there available to manage it. So I think that's really, really important. Like I mentioned before, the BWell series, BWell Together, as it is called, we invite people like Ariana Huffington, Trevor Noah, Deepak Chopra, and just learn from them how they are managing things, what insights they have to share with all of us. There is a well-being survey that we have launched. It is a pulse survey, so not like a lengthy questionnaire, but very quick, short, sharp survey that goes out to all our employees. And then our executive leadership team actually looks at those results and determines the next steps that need to be addressing the pain points of our employees. We have also enhanced our frequency of all hands. We used to do it probably once a quarter or once a month for a variety of regions. And now we are doing it far more frequently. In Asia Pacific and Japan, the region that we manage, we also do something called office hours. We do it every other week, so every 2 weeks. And that is basically bringing all the employees across Asia Pacific and Japan into one call, talking about success stories as well as strategies that people are using in their day-to-day life to cope with the work from home setup.
Oh, okay, excellent. So quite a few different things really to understand how the employees are feeling. That's good to hear. So what is the one thing you would suggest to leaders in other businesses to do more or to stop doing to support their people in this time?
I think working with understanding and empathy is very, very important. I know as managers, we've always asked people to be conscious of every employee's need. And today, I think that has been highlighted even more. Some people, as I mentioned before, are working with school education, virtual classes. Some people are taking care of elderly. Some people have pets at home. Some people are absolutely alone and working through this difficult time by themselves. So really knowing each and every person in the organization, some people will be very open and talk about it candidly. Some people may not be very open. So how do you work with different styles, different needs, and different requirement of every employee? I think you have to be flexible. You have to be pivoting as you go. I think understanding and empathy is the bottom line for every manager. The other thing is rely on facts as well. So there's a lot of anxiety and riding emotions. So important for you to cut to the basic facts and just stick with the facts where possible. And I know people managers have more difficult tasks today than it was before. So my most important advice is to take care of yourself.
Great. So really understanding the different situations and being able to adapt, right? Or as they say, different strokes for different folks. Yeah. So once again, everyone, that was Sapna Saxena, Senior Director of Human Resources APAC at Tableau. I've been your host, Naveed Salim from EngageRocket, and you've been watching People Talks.